How to overcome obstacles for singing. Hey gang, Ken Tamplin from Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy here, and I want to talk about how to overcome obstacles for singing, but it's really how to overcome obstacles for life, and we're going to apply them to singing. I'm not looking to make some big, power of positive thinking message here, but there's nothing wrong with thinking positive, and I just want to kind of dive right in, okay? The first thing is what do we tell ourselves about ourselves, or what do we think about ourselves? And some of the things people say about themselves, or tell themselves, I should say, is, it's just the way it is, right? I can't sing, I wasn't born to sing, I'll never be able to sing. Well, that's not true. I'm not talented enough. Well, that's not true either. I don't believe in myself. Well, that might be the case. I don't have enough hours to do it all. Just don't have enough time. I don't know where to start, so I end up doing nothing, right? Well, these are a lot of the things that a lot of people go through, and there's more, of course, but I just kind of want to start there. So I want to decide a few things. I want to decide if these fears are real or perceived, okay? Well, let's just break them down again. It's just the way that it is. Well, is it really? Like, there's no way to change that? I'm never going to change. It's just set in stone. That's just not true. I'm not talented enough. Well, there's a lot of levels of talent. And people think of talent differently. And singing isn't all just about talent. It's about telling your story. We've talked about this a lot. It's about just sharing your heart. It's about inspiring others. It's about doing something bigger than yourself. There's so many things that are involved in this. I don't believe in myself. Why? Let's talk about that in a minute. I don't have enough hours. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You could sacrifice something. You can get off Facebook, you can get off of Instagram, you can get off of Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, get off of YouTube and start hacking away at this stuff. I don't know where to start. Well, I'm not going to go into that. I have a singing course, but that's not what this is about. You can start noodling around YouTube or other things and start to get a flavor for what you like. Just start singing a song that you love, right? All right, so I'm going to decide what fears are real or perceived. So when something feels big, we believe what it tells us about ourselves. If we think we don't deserve it, the world will reassure us that we're right? It's interesting. If we feel underskilled or underqualified, we won't need to work hard to find out the proof they were right, right? So what do? I think we need to change our perceptions about ourselves, guys. Really, I'm not kidding. First thing, if I were to change a perception about myself, I guess I'd have to ask myself some hard questions. What do I believe about myself to be true? Okay. And so how would I go about finding that out? Well, I'm not going to say what I think about myself because I have goods and bads about myself. And I want to know both because it's not just about all fluff and, happy clappy. But I will say, okay, I was born with a certain amount of talent. I worked really hard to make it good. I think of myself sometimes as I try to be well-spoken. I try to be learned. I like to be an erudite individual. And I could go and talk about myself. I want you to do this for yourself. I want you to say to yourself, okay, what do I think about myself, both good and bad? And I want you to make a list, like write it down right now, make a list about yourself. And then I want you to analyze and review the list, okay? But I don't want you to stop there. I want you to check mark all of the things that you think are good about yourself. And then I want you to kind of cross through the negative things, because I'm not looking for you to lambaste yourself or beat yourself up. We're not looking to batter yourselves over the human that you are or are not. But I want you to get another viewpoint, okay? I want you to go on Facebook or ask some friends and family and just ask them to be honest and say, hey, how would you describe me? Now, I've seen a lot of these, memes floating around. Hey, how would you describe me in 10 words or whatever? And you can do that. Go ahead and do that with family and friends. There's going to be probably some trolling here and there, but that's okay too. So get a list of what other people think about you and then compare the list. And if they think, well, you're clever, you're smart, you're funny, you're a good historian, you're this, you're that, whatever, they couldn't possibly have the same list as you unless there was some consistency in the fact that that's really who you are. All right. Now, again, there might be some bad. They may, a little lazy, but that's okay. Whatever. Let's correct that. We'll talk about that too. If the list matches up, pretty sure that there's a lot of good qualities that you have that are consistent, that are legit and real. Now, the next thing too is you need these tools to help you fight back disbelief or not believing in yourself. And you're going to need this for some confidence. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But we're going to want to create new beliefs about ourselves, okay? And I'm not trying to preach some big power of positive thinking message, but I do want to emphasize the fact that how we perceive ourselves, in other words, there's no way to sit there and think constant negative thoughts about ourselves and then expect to be successful. It's not that we don't have negative things about us, but if we focus and harp on those things, we're not going to be successful. So we're just going to set them aside. We'll work on them, but we're going to set them aside. And this is true for singing. But again, how does this relate to singing? Well, it does actually, and I'll get to that too in a minute. But all right, so everything's getting things in a minute. So if you want to overcome obstacles in your life, difficulties in your life, you're going to have to focus on those things. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to plan some clear goals, some realistic, simple goals. Now, for us singers out there, what are those goals? Well, one of the things is just start singing. Like, pick a couple songs that are well within your range that you like. You don't have to sing them for anybody else. Sing them for your cat. I don't care, but get started. Like, don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Just get started and start singing. Now, you're going to say, well, I don't love the sound of my voice. Hey, look, I'm not kidding. I hated the sound of my voice when I started. Again, remember guys, I put out these videos recently about, some of my guitar playing to show you. Guitar was my first instrument. People are like, whoa, I had no idea you know how to play guitar like that. I'm like, well, that was my passion before I started my passion for singing. So I surely invested into it, but I've got to make some sacrifices. I've got to find the time. I got to turn off TV, get off the internet, and focus, unless I'm on the internet, to focus on this and not get distracted and not, deliberately let time, slip away where we forfeit the time that we should be using for practicing. All right. But anyway, again, so the obstacles are now at this point, I don't have enough time. I have nobody to support me. I have too many responsibilities. I don't know where to start, and I'm constantly being smacked down by other people. All right. So what? Do it because you love it. Don't do it because you're worried about what other people are going to think about you. Do it. Just take a step at a time. Learn a couple of songs. Try a couple little scales here and there. I literally have 1,200 videos on my YouTube channel going through different scales and different techniques and different methods in all kinds of different styles, not just rock music, but all kinds of different styles. And I demonstrate it with other students so you can see all of us working together and trying to get good at this, okay? Define your goals to others around you if you feel comfortable doing that. Some people don't, that's okay. But it's kind of cool to say, hey, psst, I'm going to start this singing endeavor. Now, why do we do that? Well, we do it because we want accountability. Like, hey, man, how's your singing coming along? Well, I didn't practice for the last 6 months. Well, that's going to feel the little ouch of like, oh, man. Okay, so if I tell a couple people, I can confide in them, I can give accountability a little bit, maybe sing a little line here and there, and that's a good thing. It'll give us motivation, all right? So the next thing is, do you have a plan of action that's easy to follow? Well, like I said, start with one song. Start with a verse of a song. Get your phone out. I tell my students this all the time. Get your phone out and listen to yourself. And you're going to say, oh, I hate this. But then you start going, that one little line or those couple words wasn't so bad. I remember, I've told this story before, I'll make it quick. When I first started wanting to learn to sing early on, and I realized I totally sucked, is I got these two old cassette recorders, and I'm pretty sure I got them at a garage sale. And the reason I got them is I wasn't good at singing and playing at the same time, and I wanted to learn Stairway to Heaven. And so, stupid me, I made my idol or goal or person to look up after at that point, which was Robert Plant. Well, I was no more Robert Plant than the man on the moon. But I tried, and I listened back, and there's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, right? And I thought, the only thing that sounds like Robert Plant was the overemphasis of there's a lady, but everything else pretty much sucked. But I kept at it. I kept trying. I kept recording from one recorder to another. And if there was a harmony, I'd have to play it and adjust the volume just right so it recorded just right. And I'd have to go through this process of playing my guitar first, recording it, singing to my guitar playing, and so on. Way before we had all this recording technology with these amazing phones and things. And, after about a year, I went, I can almost sing the verses. I couldn't sing the end that was really high, but I could sing the verses. And I thought, all right, well, I guess I could kind of see myself doing this. Totally self-taught, no technique, no nothing, just, wanting to learn to sing. Well, guitar took a front seat, singing took a back seat. And I just said, I think I'm going to hide behind my guitar instead of singing, until singer after singer after singer after singer left the band or had an attitude or whatever, didn't show up on time or whatever that thing is. I just said, I'm tired of waiting on the singer because the singer's me. I'm just going to do this. I don't know how. But so then singing for me became, like I said, just a means to get me to my guitar solos or my guitar playing. But it was an endeavor, and I did set out to do it, and I wound up taking some very expensive vocal lessons over the years. But all right, so we make an action. Simple action. Just a simple song that's well within your range. Don't try to sing like someone you're not. Sing like someone you are. And maybe if it's nobody, you're not a singer, okay? Just start then with people that have really easy, simple songs to sing. Make tangible steps. Like, okay, by this date, I'm gonna, 6 months from now, I'm gonna commit that I at least learned this song, okay? Or 2 songs, or whatever that is. Or you got a wedding coming up, you want to sing for somebody or a loved one or whatever. Face the big obstacles with determination. Don't be intimidated. Don't shrink back. Be consistent. Chunk away at it. Now, I think this is really funny because there's obstacles that will always rock your life. I don't care. No one has a perfect life. You might look at some movie star and you might say, "Oh, I wish my life was like theirs." Well, I don't know. I don't. Be careful what you wish for. But there's big obstacles that are genuine, and they rock up and down your life, and they may take everything out of you. A death, a divorce, a life-threatening illness, a major accident. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm not trying to be morbid, but there are things that, can hold us down or kind of beat us down. But what we can do, and let's say you have an illness. Let's say my daughter, for example, has chronic fatigue, and she's come a long way, and she's a whole lot better than the bedridden daughter that I had, who went from surfing champion, rock climbing, whatever, extraordinary, level 5 gymnast, going for the Olympics as a kid, all these things, to basically being bedridden. Now she's doing a lot better. But in the hours that she was spending 12, 13, 14 hours a day laying in her bed, she'd put on podcasts. And she'd grow herself. She'd grow herself to get better. She'd think about positive things and not be focused on letting the things that drug her down. And so those things that she focused on, and we focused on as a family over and over again, has become her success. It becomes our success. Now, I'm not, I wouldn't will anyone to have 15 hours a day in bed and listen to podcasts and things that grow your brain, but it's a lot better than watching Netflix and just resigning that your life is over and whatever path your life is going to take is what it is. It is what it is. No, it isn't what it is. You got to make something of it and do something about it. So anyway, by the way, I think there's an interesting thing there. I read this article. I'm trying to find it here. There were these guys that were questioned on, hey man, if you were given magic powers to overcome this giant wall over there, how would you overcome them? And I thought the responses of each individual, and almost everyone's is different, but I thought the responses were really interesting because it can really help you and me, all right? Check this out. All right, if it feels like a huge wall, how would you get past it? And how could you use your magic superpowers to overcome it? And here's what a few people said. It'd say they'd go along until, one of them said, that they'd go along and wait until they came to an end. Then they'd climb over it, and they'd get Thor's hammer to destroy it, or they'd take it down brick by brick. But it's rarely the same answer. So I want to analyze a couple of these real quick. All right. These crazy, impossible solutions to the wall will give us clues to the best ways that we can overcome our own obstacles and get to know ourselves better, all right? First thing, the person that wanted to go and tunnel under it realized that they weren't good at looking at obstacles head on. It sounds kind of niche-y or kind of Freudian, but it really is. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? If they did, they felt it was too big and they would procrastinate, fearing they would fail. Interesting. For the person that wants to climb over it, they realize that no matter what happened, they could overcome things that happen in their lives. They just realized that the sooner they started, the sooner they would get what they wanted. Interesting. For the person that went along the wall, appreciated it for them because they would walk all the way around this wall thinking at some point that wall's got to end, right? And their perception, rightly or wrongly, meant that they knew they could always find a way around it. I want to talk about that about myself in a second. And I'm trying not to make this too long because I really want to keep your attention. So stay with me, man. I promise this is life lesson stuff and it's really helped me overcome a lot of stuff in my life. Anyway, but they'd use a lot less energy strolling along the wall than trying to destroy the wall or tunnel under it or beat it with Thor's hammer, right? Now, in my life, I cannot tell you how many times I've hit this wall, okay? How many times a record company has told me no? How many times a management company has told me no? How many times I've told myself no because there were certain bands I could have joined that I decided I didn't want to live their lifestyle or sing their lyrics, and I said no. But all these obstacles, I sort of felt that if I could just stay the course and keep honing my craft and outliving them and outperforming them, that eventually I would win. I would walk around that wall. Well, to be really candid with you guys, it wasn't almost until my 40s that I felt like, now, okay, I had some successes with a band I was in called Shout. I won some things called Dove Awards or like Gospel Grammys. I had like 14 nominations. I won 3 of them. You know, I've had all kinds of different awards and things over the years. But nothing I would say that I could say that I felt as successful as the effort I put into it. And it wasn't really until my 40s that I felt, oh, here's another one. When commercial rock died, I was in my 30s, early 30s. In fact, I just turned 30. And I'd worked my whole life to be an 80s metal guy, and Nirvana came in and all the Seattle movement came in and literally waylaid and destroyed commercial rock. And it just took the rug right out from under me. And I just went, oh my gosh, I worked my whole life to get to this level and now it's gone. A lot of people, why were you never in a successful band? I'm just me and I do what I do. Anyway, so I had to rethink and I thought, well, you know, I need to support my family, all these different things kept crossing my mind. So I started a career in film and television. It was very hard. I took a lot of no's and there's all kinds of funky things I did to try to get my foot in the door with people. In fact, that's one of them. I bought a shoe one time, put my CD in it. I mailed it to somebody and I said, now that I've got my foot in the door, and I had all these little antics that I did to try to find my way into people's hearts to give me a chance. And I found a measure of success. And by the end of that, I mean, some of you have seen my story. I have a story called, How Did I Become Ken Tamplin? And I cover some of that in this. But I remember, when mp3.com happened and Napster happened, film and TV was looking for free music at that point. There were all of these strikes that were happening, the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all this stuff. And they just weren't paying enough money for guys like me to support a family to be able to do music and film and television, unless you're like at the very, very top echelon. So I was always given these no's. But again, I always felt like I could outlive them. I could outperform them. I could just, continue on and go around that wall. And that's been a success for me to think about things. And everyone has different personalities and the way they do things. But I just want to encourage you that you'll find your own personality. But I've also got to encourage you to stop playing the victim. You know what I mean? Stop worrying about what you can't control and worry about what you can control, because in that you will find your success, in this case, in singing. And you thought, Ken, I just wanted to get a few things on obstacles, how to overcome obstacles for singing. You're getting more than that. You're getting more than that here. And I understand if it's a bit more of your, you came for the fillet and you're now swallowing the whole cow, but I'm almost done. If you're looking to kind of, make some sacrifices, you could look at your day and say, okay, I've only got 15 minutes. You know what? That's okay. Use 15 minutes. But really devote 15 minutes. Like really use it. 15 minutes is a lot if you do it every single day, 5-6 days a week. The next thing, and I want to bring something up I thought was really fascinating, is a lot of people think that singing is because they want to become on America or want to get on American Idol and win or whatever that is. We need to find our why for singing. Why do we want to sing? And usually, hopefully, it should be something bigger than just ourselves, though it can be for ourselves, and that's awesome. But there are a lot of things about singing that are just amazing. And I want to talk about the benefits for singing, and then I'll share that little nugget with you in 1 second. All right. Now, At the Mayo Clinic, by the way, this is covered in the BBC. This is was actually a cover in Time Magazine, all kinds of stuff. I listed the 10 greatest singing benefits that we get from singing. The first one is, it relieves stress. That's cool. It stimulates the immune response. These are clinical studies. This isn't just, happy, clappy, again, hearsay stuff. It increases pain threshold. That's really interesting because not just physical pain, I think also emotional, spiritual pain, right? It brings back memory in people with dementia. They showed a whole part where somebody had dementia, didn't even remember family members' names. They started singing, this one case was a hymn that this grandfather knew, and they started singing the hymn. He hadn't spoken in like months, and he starts singing the melody and the lyrics to the hymn. Once they stopped, he went right back to forgetting who they were. But it invokes incredible ability for those with memory loss. It improves lung function. It's a healthy sport. It develops a sense of belonging, connection, and community. These are important things, guys. It's an incredible mood elevator. Number 8, I'm going to get to 10. Songs can express what mere words cannot. We can express things in song that we can't come out and say, right? Where words fail, music speaks. I forget who actually said that. It helps with grief, depression, loneliness. That's really cool. You think about this as a song, you're kind of cruising down the road and you're going, oh my gosh, I just feel so, and the song comes on the radio and immediately you're catapulted back to a place in time where you're having fun with your friends or family or whatever, and you forget all your cares from music, from singing. Well, guess what? Your singing can do that for others. So this is about back to the why, like doing something bigger that's beyond yourself. Next one, or last one of these here, it engenders hope in the one singing and hopeful inspiration to the ones listening. Very, very important stuff. I want to close with a couple things here. If we have positive idols and role models in our life, whether that's, positive singers, positive people that we love, a pastor, a friend, a parent, whatever, we can look to these people and we can say, these guys have really, really inspired me. And I'm thinking to myself, well, as these guys have inspired me, and in song, what can I do to inspire other people? So as we look at kind of like paying it the other way, we get this guy that's inspired me, and we can turn around and inspire others. And there's no better way that I know of to do it than in song. It's really, really, really cool. And again, we can express things in songs, even if it's just a humming. Sorry, I'm going off here. I've listened to a lot of Middle Eastern music in my life, particularly near Middle Eastern music, and a lot of the melodies and the lullabies and a lot of the laments have no lyrics at all. It's just and you just have no idea what that guy's saying. He's not even saying anything, but my gut is just telling me, man, it's some serious stuff, if you know what I mean. And that's what singing and music does. It is awesome. I want to have a couple last quotations here. Don't be afraid to do something you think you're not qualified to do, and do it because you love it, not because what you think others will think about you. Okay? I want to read that again. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm almost done. Stay with me. Don't be afraid to do something you think you're not qualified to do, and do it because you love it, not because of what others think about you. And lastly, Andrew Davidson's The Gargoyle. Remember that? The Gargoyle? I am more than my scars. What does that mean? I'm more than what the world tells me I'm not. I'm more than my obstacles. I'm more than life's beating me down. I'm more than not having the job I want, or the girlfriend or the wife or the family, or some left me or lost a family member, or whatever that is. I am more than my scars. Singing is the best medicine, and it can bring incredible healing. Hope you guys enjoyed that. God bless you, and until next time, peace out.